Hunter Biden's special counsel David Weiss's team telling a U.S. district judge the first son is expected to be indicted on a federal gun charge by the end of the month. This after the chairman of the House Judiciary Oversight and Ways and Means Committees demanding Hunter Biden's legal team turn over all of its records of communication with the Justice Department related to the collapse of that sweetheart plea deal. Joining me now, Tennessee Senator and member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senate Finance Committee, and Senate Commerce Committee, Marsha Blackburn. Senator, good morning.
Good morning, Cheryl. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. So your reaction to what looks like to be a change for the first son. We're expecting September 29th, at least on the gun charge. Does this satisfy those that want to see Hunter Biden actually face justice for those crimes that he committed?
Not at all. This is addressing one thing of many and not getting to the heart of the issue when it comes to the tax fraud, when it comes to the issues around Biden Incorporated. And Cheryl, if they think they're going to get by with saying, okay, there is a gun charge and he's going to agree to plead guilty to this, then I think they're sadly mistaken on where the American people are. They're tired of two tiers of justice. They want to see those that have done wrong to be held to account by the law. And think of it this way. When you look at all of these charges, when you look at the sweetheart deal that was concocted, of course, the House Oversight Committee has the right to look at those documents. The Ways and Means Committee has the right to look at those documents. The American people have the right to look at this and see what kind of traffic there was back and forth between the IRS, DOJ, FBI, and Hunter Biden's attorneys and the White House, and know the full story of what has happened and how Biden Incorporated chose to work while President Biden was then Vice President of the United States. And if it turns out that everything is true that has been exposed on the laptop, on the emails, the testimony from Devin Archer, then of course the American people are saying, let's make certain there is one standard of justice for all Americans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had actually a couple of Congress folks come on and tell us that they believe that it's upwards of 50, maybe $80 million that the Bidens made during that time when President Biden was vice president. Let's stay with President Biden, Senator, because there's more concerns about his age ahead of the election. Vice President Kamala Harris actually saying yesterday she's ready to step into the role of president if she needs to step in. Watch what she said here.
Questions about the president's age often go hand in hand with questions about how you would step in the role, if necessary. Do you feel prepared for that possibility? And serving as vice president prepared you for that job?
Yes, I'm answering your hypothetical. But Joe Biden's going to be fine. But every vice president understands that when they take the oath, that they must be very clear about the responsibility they may have to take over the job of being president. I am no different.
You know what struck me about this, Senator Blackburn, is that you never heard someone question Mike Pence or put that question up to Mike Pence about Donald Trump's age. There were more concerns about Dick Cheney's health than there were about President Bush's health. So the fact that she's even being asked the question, I think, is the headline here.
I agree with you on that. And bear in mind, if the Democrats wanted Kamala Harris to be president of the United States, they probably would have already made that happen. But we do hear that she and the team around her are beginning to be very aggressive on asserting her as the heir apparent and are even sending messages to people like Gavin Newsom, don't get in my way. So that's some of the conversation that we are hearing on the Hill. But we all know that our nation's commander-in-chief, the leader of the free world, has to be very clear and very precise on who our enemies are and understand who our adversaries are. and make certain that the American people understand our policies. That's been a problem with this administration, and even more pronounced with the vice president as she seems to move through word salads and lack of clarity and lack of understanding, not only of domestic but foreign policy issues. And honestly, I think if she wanted to say she was ready to step up, why hasn't she stepped up as the borders are? Why hasn't she addressed this humanitarian crisis at the southern border? Why hasn't she addressed the national security crisis? We had people from 176 different countries come to that southern border last year. We have the cartels functioning as international global business organizations. And the drugs, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking coming into this country. If someone wanted to show leadership, start there. Get this border secured and make certain that the American people know the focus is securing this nation.
There's a lot to talk about, Senator, but before you go, I have to ask you about some business in Tennessee. Democratic Tennessee State Representative and member of the so-called Tennessee 3, this is Gloria Johnson. She's launching a 2024 Senate bid to challenge you for your seat. Remember, she's one of those 3 state lawmakers that barely survived that Republican-led expulsion effort earlier this year. That anti-gun protest, the state capitol, the images we saw in the state capitol on the floor. Now she wants to come up against you, Senator. What is your response to this?
There are 3 people in the Democrat primary. They are all socialist, believe in abortion up to the minute before and the minute after birth. They believe in open borders and letting illegal immigrants vote. They believe in gun confiscation. And the one that's in the State House has never voted for a tax cut for the people of Tennessee, and also voted against a Safe Schools Act to keep children safe in school. We're going to run on our record. We know the 3 that are running in that primary would make Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer look like moderates. And your voters, your listeners, and your viewers can keep up with my campaign at MarshaBlackburn.com.
I first met you when you were a congresswoman, now a senator. It's so exciting to see you serving in the Senate, Marsha. It's great to see you as always, Senator Marsha Blackburn.
It's my honor.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Come to New York very soon. We'll see you then.